Hello, Cruising World. Mick the Suit Guy with you. It's Monday. Monday is Tips Day. And today I have some from Sean, my good Canadian friend and fellow Ipswich Town supporter, commiserating with each other on our relegation from the Premier League. But we're going to bounce back. Predict it. We're going to walk the championship next year. If you know, you know. If you don't care. But boom. And he has sent me some pros and cons on transatlantic cruising. I haven't read them as always. I can just see the headline: Transatlantic pros, transatlantic cons. So let's get into this. Sean does a lot, and his wife Kelly, they do a lot of transatlantics. I've yet to do one. So I've done a trans-Pacific, but not a transatlantic. So let's delve into what Sean thinks is good and bad about these. All right, here we go. Mick, tips. Looks like some actual tips in the front, actually. If Hub app is not working, delete it and reload it. Our experience was everything on the Hub app worked except the dining page. So we couldn't see the menus and we couldn't sign in for your time dining. A few trips to customer service did not find a solution, so we deleted and reloaded the app and it's working normally. If I didn't have ship internet already, I would have asked customer service for Wi-Fi use to get the app reloaded. This story has a happy ending, unlike the massages in the spa. Ooh, catching me out there, Sean. Proof I don't read them. That's why I don't get spas. Massages. Anyway, moving on. When I told customer service about the happy ending, how I fixed it, they gave me some free drink vouchers. Not that you need them because you gamble, hence the suit I'm wearing for you, and you probably had free drinks in the casino. I'm just saying. Or maybe you used them around the ship. Actually, that's never happened to me. I've had an issue getting into the hub. And on this last cruise, for example, I had a problem and with the chat. The chat's been working well once it's in there, but I couldn't send messages. So I went down to guest services and I said, I'm having a problem with the chat. He took my phone, he went, there you go. I have no idea what he did, but it was working perfectly. So before you do take it off, like Sean did, go to customer service or guest services. Sometimes they can fix it for you. They're very clever people there. Very, very clever. Especially if you're nice to them. Like if you went in there with an attitude, he would probably go, and you get back and there's a virus on your phone. Just kidding. Just kidding. They wouldn't do that. Wouldn't blame them though if you're rude. Anyways, yeah, okay. If your Hub app is not working, delete and reload it. Good call. And get free drink vouchers. Make sure you tell people when you do good things. That's a good start. That's a tip, not a pro and con. All right, here we are. Transatlantic pros. Oh my goodness, there's 12 of them. How many cons do we have? 6. More pros than cons. Next week, I'll be doing the pros and cons on my recent cruise on Panorama, and unfortunately, there are more cons than pros. Ooh. I'm always honest. So check that next week. All right, transatlantic pros. Number 1, a cheaper cruise price. I have noticed that, and it's really hard for you to say this, Sean, because you get casino offers. But in general, yes, I do see cheaper on this. They want to fill the boat. Because when you think about it, it's a lot of sea days, and a lot of people don't want a lot of sea days. And at the end of the cruise, you'll have like 2 or 3 port days, like in Portugal or Spain or something like that, depending on where you're going. So yeah, they are typically a cheaper cruise price. The Mardi Gras, and I know Sean and Kelly are on that in September, is doing a transatlantic. And I did think about going on that, but I've got way too many cruises booked. One of these days, I'm going to do a transatlantic. I would personally rather do that on a cruise ship like Mardi Gras that's got more to do on it. My concern on one of the smaller ships where there's not that much to do is a lot of sea days could be an issue. For me, a lot of people don't care about that. Anyway, number 2. Oh, topical. Many relaxing sea days to read, etc. If you have the attention span to read, that's great. I think I decided I was going to start reading, and I probably got about 10 books. And I'm the sort of person that I'll be on page 17 and I realize I haven't read any of it because I'm thinking about other things and I just keep turning the page. It's like one of my things about binge watching on Netflix. I love binge watching. The problem is, by the time you get to episode 6 or 7, you're really not watching it properly. So I have to limit myself now. But yeah, if you like to read and play games or whatever, that's great. For me, it's been many relaxing days to sit at Red Frog and talk to the bartenders and drink Red Stripes. Number 3, guest lecturers. Yeah, that's good. I mean, when we did the Trans-Pacific, I didn't go to any of those, and I should have, because they can be very interesting. I'm not really sure what a guest lecturer would do on that Transatlantic. Maybe talk about Europe. I liked it when we were on Alaska, and they told you about that. So yeah, these guest lecturers can be very interesting. So if you are on one, a lot of journeys, cruises, etc., that has a guest lecturer, I would recommend going at least once and checking it out. Number 4. Journeys, cruise, extras / special events. Yes, they do a lot of things like that. I'm not going to talk about it because I do tend to get a bit too involved in the extra events. I do like the throwback sea day that they have. I like the horse racing. I'm a big fan of the stuff in the ping pong balls into your swimming costume, as we call it, especially when you wear Speedos. Watch my videos, you will see. But yeah, they do a lot of special things on journeys for that. I'm assuming that we're going to have a negative on the fact that they don't really do much for diamond and platinum. So if they don't do a lot, because there's usually these journey cruises are largely made up of diamond and platinum guests, and there's too many because they don't know how to redo their loyalty program. We'll leave that there. Moving on. Number 5. Avoid jet lag when you get to your destination by changing the clocks by 1 hour throughout the cruise. Ooh, topical. Now, I think that's a great idea. Here's my problem with that. I left school when I was 15. I would get confused as hell by what time events happening on the ship. I can't be working out, today it's 4 hours, yesterday was 3, today's 5, so let's do ship's time, this, that, and the other. So if you are good at math and you are intelligent enough to do that, I think that would be a great idea. If not, although what? So you're going, so over there, they're 5 hours ahead of the East Coast. So would that mean that when 2 or 3 days to go, if you're out till 12, you're actually out till 4 in the morning? Gambling, Sean? I don't know if I could do that one. I in principle, it sounds like a good idea, but in reality, I don't know. I'm talking too much about these tips and there's a lot to go. So what I'm going to do, I've decided, this week we're going to do 2 weeks. This week's going to be the pros, and then next week we're going to do the cons, because I'm talking too much. I watch the average watch time on my videos, and it's certainly not the whole way, probably because I talk too much. Number 6, takes you to new ports, less frequently visited ports, which is, that's the whole idea of journeys. The only problem is if you do a lot of transatlantics, as I know these two have, it's pretty much the same ports each time. It's like going to Ensenada after a while, but not that you do that many. But yes, you are going to see some new ports, and that is my biggest complaint with Carnival. I think overall, this is why we started cruising on Celebrity a lot more, because we want to go to new ports, and Carnival doesn't do many cruises that go to new ports for us. We've been to them all. The only place we could do is Europe, and just the flight and the time, and personally I think Europe is better in the evening than during the day, so I would probably prefer to do a land tour, although we are doing the solar eclipse cruise next year. We'll see how that goes. Maybe my first European cruise. Number 7, encourages visiting European/African ? Countries. I get the European. You're doing a transatlantic. Where does African come in? Sean, please explain in the comments what you mean by African ? Countries. You could put Asian ? Countries. You could put South American ? Countries, because I'm assuming you get the bug to travel. Because Africa is not that close to... moving on. Number 8, allows us to visit family / grandchild in Europe before heading home. Well, good for you, Sean. But I'm going to be honest, I don't think there's that many people doing those cruises that have relatives in Europe. Maybe they do. Maybe you're Canadian, so you've obviously you were cast away a long time ago and kicked out the motherland. So, you probably got a few proper people that decided not to live it. No, we're moving on again. Number 9. Meet a lot of new friends on board. More time/meals to interact with fellow passengers and crew. This is true of any long cruise. Yeah, absolutely. You will get to recognize faces, because I think if you're like me and like most people, they have a kind of a daily routine especially on a sea day, where they'll pretty much do the same thing in the same place. I know my friends Mal and Lex. Mal's going to be doing pictures all day long. He's an amazing artist, so he'll be doing that, and then they'll play games for a little while, and then they'll look over at me at the Red Frog, because that's where I'll be every day. So people do get into a routine of where they're going to be, and after a while you do start recognizing faces, and it's very easy to make conversation with people if you want to. You can choose not to, but why would you cruise if you don't want to meet new people? That's probably my number one thing about cruising, is meeting new friends, making new friends, chatting with crew. I'm not going to sit silent for a while. That's for sure. So yes, and I've made a lot of new friends, and I do typically make more friends on longer cruises. This is true. Yeah, because after a while you kind of summon up the courage to talk to people. Not me, I'll talk to anybody anytime, but a lot of people are a little bit shyer, but eventually they will. So yes, that's a very good point, number 9. And I like the way you said passengers/crew, because crew, very important. Number 10, crew are happier. Unique itinerary/different ports/going home after trip if ship going into dry dock, or they will be doing a different job on the ship during dry dock. One said she will be on fire watch near the welders and using a water spray bottle to spray on stray sparks. I will agree and disagree with that statement at the same time, and I agree in principle with everything you are saying. Where I will disagree is they don't make much money, because typically on those cruises it's more platinum diamond people again, and not party people, and I'm talking bartenders specifically here. Yeah, everybody else is fine, but I agree with what you say. But I would disagree on bartenders to the extent that they're not making as many tips. I do remember when we did the Trans-Pacific that we got on in Singapore on embarkation day. I went to Red Frog, and I sat there for 3 hours, and nobody came and actually sat down and had a drink. A few people came up and grabbed a drink and walked away. And then for the rest of that cruise, it was pretty much me at the bar only. Eventually some New Zealanders, we got chatting, and they would come up and hang out. But there was more often than not more bartenders than people at the bar. And I know that was a 25-day cruise, and the bartenders did not make much money on that cruise. They were not happy. And I don't know if being on fire watch and holding a spray bottle to spray on stray sparks would be the most fun job. What if one came at you? Maybe you could play darts afterwards. Yeah, so I agree 95% with that, just not with bartenders. Number 11. If ship is coming out of dry dock, it will be clean and updated with new features. So this would be on the way back, not the way out, because they usually go into a place called Cadiz, where they will do a lot of the dry docks in Europe. And yes, you'll have a shiny brand new ship to come back with, and hopefully they've made a lot of good enhancements. I would probably look at the ship before and look at what the enhancements they made and check them out. Go and have a look. But yes, that is true. Although conversely, the opposite way, if you are on it before it goes into dry dock, like you are typically when you're going to Europe, you're on a ship that's in desperate need of help. So it could go the other way. Not that the Mardi Gras would ever be in desperate need of help, but yeah. And lastly, and again, next week I'll do the cons. Usually your fellow cruisers are more seasoned, so less drama on board. Yeah, that's very true. That's like, how do you describe that without getting mean? But yeah, and I think the less drama really leads more into less drinking, because let's face it, drinking leads to drama. The more you drink, the more drama potential there is usually. So, and these aren't typically, obviously not a booze cruise. But yeah, so no, I could totally see that. You do see a lot less drama. You will see a little bit more privilege come out in people from time to time, because you see people's true colours over a longer period than you maybe would on a shorter cruise. And there are definitely, you know what, this is going to not go down very well. I have a feeling, to some extent, it's not the diamond people that are the problem, it's the platinum people. And I speak as a diamond person. I have definitely found that platinum people, in my experience, are a little bit more privileged because they like to show off. They're fair, especially newly platinum people. I was actually on a cruise a few weeks ago, and I'm sitting, and there's another gentleman sitting at the other end of the bar. And I was chatting to the bartenders, and he cut in on the conversation, whatever, it doesn't matter. And we were just talking about things. And he turned to me and goes, you know, I could probably give you some advice because I know a few things about cruising. And he flashed his platinum card at me because my diamond card is always in my pocket. I don't have a lanyard or anything. It only comes out when I want to get a drink or buy something. So I said, oh, really? And then I took my diamond card out. I would never do this, but he got to me, and I showed him mine, and he said, what's that? And I said, that's a diamond card, my friend. He goes, what's diamond? He thought platinum was the highest level. But anyway, we'll leave that one there. That was an interesting conversation. So, boy, that was a lot. That was a lot. Transatlantic pros. So we're going to end it here. And then next week, we'll do the cons, which should be a shorter video because we have 12 pros and I can only see 6 cons. So maybe a shorter video next week. Boy, did I rabbit on and on there. I wanted to say a lot more, but they're all good tips. The only ones I had not an issue with. I want to explain African countries to me. The bartenders aren't necessarily happier. Other than that, I think everything's a good point. Oh, yeah, the changing your clocks by 1 hour throughout the cruise. That would just confuse the bejesus out of me. Not a good idea to confuse the suit guy, especially after 7 red stripes at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Leaving that one there. Subscribe if you'd like to subscribe to this channel. We do these every Monday. Every Thursday I put out a cabin video, and every Saturday I try and put out, I do put out a video like a ship tour or something unique, something different. But that's what we do each week. If you have any questions, my email is coming up. Please feel free to contact me with any questions you have. Put anything you want in the comments. What do you think about Sean's? Have you done a transatlantic? What are your pros and cons? If you've got a lot of them, don't put them in the comments. Send them to me. Email them to me. I'd love to get any tips. Any tips. Doesn't have to be pros and cons. Tips in general on any cruise line. So we do a lot of Carnival on this cruise, on this channel. So I'm trying to branch out and do as many other cruise lines as possible. So I'd love your tips on other cruise lines. Probably more so than Carnival, but I will take Carnival. Don't get me wrong. And with that, because I'm rabbiting, I will see you later, Cruising World. Well, thanks for watching. Don't forget, subscribe, hit that bell, and you'll get notifications when new videos come out. And don't forget, click on the links to the left and right of me. You can watch playlists, new video suggestions, and more. Any questions? Email me, cruisingsuitguy@gmail.com. And don't forget, I'm a travel agent. Email for help.